Hey Track Gang, what's going on in this week's episode of the Boeville in Newtown? Well, it's right over here. Stand by and we'll get into what's happening this week. Well, hello Track Gang, and welcome to episode 26, or 36, 26, no, 36, yes. It happens to be Thanksgiving Day here in the States. It is November the 23rd. I almost goofed that up again. November the 23rd of 2023. This is episode 36 for 2023. Welcome aboard. I know it's been a bit. Working on this scratch build project has been, time consuming to say the least. Going back and looking at pictures for reference and then looking at the document that, let's put it this way, the back of this poor thing has been rebuilt 3 times already. And the east wall has been redone 3 times, redone 3 times as well, and I'm thinking I may have to redo the west wall of the main building. So anyway, you'll all see that sometime in the future if we ever get around to actually recording the first episode. Anywho, I did want to bring up a couple things because after episode 35, obviously there were some folks that were like, gee, there's another build crew? Yes, there's another build crew going on. Me, JD, and Rick. Anyway, there was something else that I wanted to touch on here. Thanks to Mr. Joe Rader over at the Block Rock Central, he actually gave me another set of bridge piers that, looked like they were going to work out nice. When I started looking at what I have over here, they didn't quite work out the way I thought they were going to, but I do have an idea for something in the future. So we'll get to those there, Mr. Joe. Anyway, but since I'm talking about the bridges, the other week after I recorded, I'm trying to get the thing, there we go. After I recorded what I had thought about doing over here, my daughter actually came down, and Rachel, and she looked at it and was like, Dad, you're overthinking the whole thing. I'm like, oh, okay. So what's going to happen up here now is I'm going to use the old box girder bridge as the roadway bridge. I'm going to cover the tracks up, so on and so forth. But there's going to be something else unique that's going to happen with this. Instead of it being steel, I'm going to take some of the leftover stonework that I have, and I'm going to make it a stone bridge, which I think will look a lot more unique. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to use the Atlas bridges that Santa Fe Bob had sent me. I'd forgotten that I had extra boxes of these things. These are perfect for the interurban. So I'm going to end up cutting them back a little bit to get them to match up with the bridge abutments on either side that I've already pre-made. Now I'm going to have to cut back or modify the deck girder bridge a little bit to get it to fit, but I really like the idea of doing that. Now, some other things that came up while she was down here talking with me the other night, and this has probably been about 2 weeks ago now, was I was telling her, she says, by the way, she says, I've got a question for you, and I know I'm off camera. She says, I've got a question for you. What are your plans for around Boeville? You know, this whole blank canvas over towards the warehouse over here. And I said, what's going to happen is, I said, this is supposed to be a retaining wall. I'm going to make it brick. And she's like, that's just way too much brick. She says, I don't think that's going to look right. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what her thoughts were, and it just so happens that right after that, and I've still got it sitting over on my computer, somebody from overseas, and I'll have to look, and I'll put their name down here, but I'll put a link to the video, talked about retaining walls. And I'm like, great. It's one of our English, or one of our friends from over the pond over in Great Britain was talking about building retaining walls for his railroad, and he's got a very similar situation to what I've got here, where the yard is down in front, and he's got another part, or actually I think his yard's going to be up top, but he's got a railroad down there, or another main line on the bottom, and it's a very shallow seam, much like this is. So it's like, okay, great. Well, that takes care of that. Of course, then we get over to the corner over here, and then what I'm going to do over this way, going over towards the warehouse. And I told her, I said, what I'm thinking I might do, I said I might extend the office section down a little bit further. In other words, make another set of offices or something, maybe. Of course, I was just looking at this, and that may not work out very well. But what I was also thinking about doing is underneath this corner over here is actually turning that into the car repair facility, or the rolling stock repair facility, moving that off of this back here. I'm not even sure if that's showing up. Here we go. Getting rid of the car shop that's supposed to be back here, which would actually give me some more room to be able to maneuver the locomotives into here. That's a possibility. I'd still have to figure out how I'm going to work the tank car for the fuel delivery, but that's something that I can look into. But like I said, there's a possibility. Of course, I've got to cut that corner back yet. But cutting that down and actually making that into the car barn, or the maintenance facility for the railroad. So in other words, your locomotive facility would be over here, and your car facility would be over there. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. But I did agree with her, and that's the fact that putting all that red brick or something of that nature along this whole thing all the way over would have been way too much. So, plan B or plan C, or, whatever. We could be on to preparation G, because preparation H didn't work. Some of you might get that, some of you may not. Anyway, actually, preparations A through G didn't work. That's what it was, yeah. Anyway, so that's basically all I've got for the moment. Again, happy Thanksgiving to those here in the States. I know this video will come out after the fact, but like I said, I wanted to give an update. I do know that I've got a buddy of mine coming in to pick up his locomotives that have been here since April. I've actually got to pull them out and make sure that they're running, because I did do repair work on them, but they've been sitting for 6 months minimal. So I'm going to have to bring those out here at some point and test them. So, but you all know the deal. Wait for the high ball. Green tracks ahead. Be safe. God bless. We will catch you all next time. See ya.